Now, the families of the 3 Lily mine workers are still fighting for justice. Nkambule, Yvonne Mnisi and Solomon Nyirenda were trapped underground in 2016. Their bodies were never recovered after a crown pillar collapsed. Now, loved ones have camped at the site for years demanding action. The tragedy exposed deep issues in mine safety and accountability. Today, the search for the truth continues now, and I understand ActionSA is on the ground on this particular one, with Herman Mashaba now speaking. Let's listen in.
That's how ActionSA, the People's Dialogue was engaged. At the time, no knowledge that a political party would really be formed. That was in February when Harry kept missing this call from this person. I always avoid taking calls when I don't know who the person is. But this one wasn't giving up. Eventually, I decided, let me return his call, this person's call. Harry related to me, who is as a representative of these 3 families, wanted to take me through what happened with the Lily mine. I said, yes, Harry, I've read, like anybody else, heard in the media that the container collapsed on the 5th of February 2016. However, our government and the mine management said this container cannot be retrieved, and therefore the whole thing was abandoned. I said, is there a reason why you guys are pursuing this matter? What he related to me on the phone prompted me within 2 weeks. I had to change my diary. I didn't actually at the time realize that it is that far. So I came here in and out. And we sat under this tree at the time, much smaller than it is right now. Harry taking me through what happened. It was unbelievable. It was beyond description. It was beyond belief what I was told, what happened. So the question after Harry spoke, I said to Harry and the family, tell me what informed our government and mine management that this container cannot be retrieved? Because if you are saying the container cannot really be retrieved, when there's 3 of our fellow South Africans in there, what informed that decision? I said, no, something is not right. I think, for you as members of parliament to note, it's very important that part of what Harry related to me was that 2 years before the collapse of this container, mine management received 2 reports from mining experts to warn them about the reckless mining they were undertaking. So I want South Africa to know that the collapse of that container was not an accident. It was an accident bound to happen. They were warned 2 years before. But obviously, for them, it was about profits. It was about maximizing their profits. The safety of our people was not an issue to them. I really got so angry, and I asked the family, I said, look, unfortunately, I'm not a mining engineer. The best thing I can do in my personal capacity, can I get you lawyers so that you can relate this to them? And obviously, what I will do, I'm going to ask these lawyers, before they go any further or anywhere, I want them to really get us proof that from government, Department of Minerals and Energy, and the mine management, they must give us evidence or proof of what informed their decision that to abandon the retrieval of this container. So luckily the family gave me that mandate, and you can imagine I had to drive back. By the time I left here, it must have been 5, 6 in the afternoon, got home quite late. And a week later, I then called the family to Johannesburg, arranged with them with some of the top lawyers in Johannesburg. That's how, I think about 9 months later, the government playing games with us, running us from one post to the other, because our focus was to get the evidence as to why what informed that decision that the container cannot be retrieved? They had to take us to go to court, to threaten them to go to court. Eventually, one day they delivered the boxes and boxes of documents at our lawyers' offices, and only to discover that the decision to stop retrieving that container was taken, I don't know, maybe in a shebeen or in a bar or whatever. But there is no scientific evidence that that container cannot really be retrieved. It is actually quite sad that to date, over 4 million rands in legal fees directly outside the many trips and also helping the family gone down the drain. And we are this government is refusing to assist us, including the National Prosecuting Authority. You remember in October 2023, the Mbombela Magistrate Court came out with an order for criminal prosecution against owners of this mine, senior police here in Barberton, and the senior members of the Department of Minerals and Energy for covering up this matter all along. There's a court order to that effect. And it was also after 2 years of a public inquiry. The court order was on the basis of the inquiry which was done that this was negligent mining that resulted with the collapse of this mine. You know, every time in the last, since 2020, coming to this family, for me, it's one of the most traumatic experience of my life because, yes, spent over 4 million rands in legal costs alone and others. I have a feeling I'm not doing enough because every time I try something, they find a way to block, including actually being in contempt of court orders. So perhaps as now being represented in our National Assembly, I thought of talking to you over and above some of the attempts I'm trying to really get closure for this family, including the permission we received from the business rescue practitioners to have access to the mine to get the mine rescue practitioners. But the bad news, or the good news, but it's that the bad news to me. We had a presentation I think about 2-3 weeks ago. Matthew was with me when some of the mine experts presented the proposal, because we wanted to have a technical report which we can then advertise for any mine rescue company from anywhere in the world to come and retrieve this container. What obviously the report we received indicates that that container, without any doubt, is retrievable. However, you can't go directly to the container. The only way you can access that container, I'm not a mine technical person, but obviously I just really give you the broad terms of what needs to really happen. You have to really go through to build, building another shaft that would then allow you to get to the container. But the only practical way to do is you will need a mining company that can immediately open the mine, employ people, and while they are going towards retrieval of this container, at least there's business activity. I'm sure you are aware this mine had employed at the time just over 1,000 people who are today unemployed. And we sit in a country where we have the highest sustainable unemployment rate in the world. The decision just needs to really be made by the President Cyril Ramaphosa, Gwede Mantashe, the ANC government, including the current GNU. including the current GNU, to ensure that we provide employment to our people, we provide dignity, which is the most important thing that these families are asking for. They're not looking for anything. For me, the most difficult, painful part of this exercise is to see these families' living conditions. I'll take you through afterwards so that you go and see the living conditions they live under. In a country where we have a Chapter 9 institution where I pay taxes for them to really be paid to provide human rights to South Africans. I remember a few years ago, about 3-4 years ago, one day, around about this time, just by about 12 o'clock, they got criminals. So the leader of that criminal group assigned to come and destroy and burn down this sheikhs was someone who was doing 36 years in jail, only served 10 years, and he was given an assignment with others to come and burn down this, because these people were becoming a nuisance. Because as far as our government is concerned, these families must forget about what happened and move on. That's what we are always told, that we must learn to move on. I've really tried so many times ever since I got involved to say to these families, please go back home. We will attend to this matter from home. As you can imagine, it's over 6 years now that their lives have been they did not just really lose their 3 members. Their lives have turned another way. You can imagine living like this for 6 years. Basically, their life is at a standstill or going backwards with something that our government should have attended to, something where our government should have provided employment opportunities to minimum of 1,000 people, because the report we are getting, this mine has got a lot of gold. But the reason why there's interest for these families to not pursue this matter, because they're using the Zamazamas to mine on their behalf. They're using the Zamazamas to mine on their behalf, and they want the families to forget about this. So it's a very painful situation, to which a few weeks ago I then thought, perhaps let me empower our members of parliament, because I don't want you to deal with this as an academic exercise. This is not something that you learn at the university, you get a lecture from a professor. This is real life. This is the real life of these people, and I really want us, we're fighting it as a party. I'm fighting it in my personal capacity. I would really want you, as members of parliament, to assist us to knock some sense into this government, because if they are now in contempt of court orders, what options do we have? And I'm calling on all South Africans, all of us, all the 60 million people of this country. If you don't take interest in the Lily Mine tragedy, it's going to happen to you one day. That's for given. If we allow this government to do this to these 3 families, one thing for sure, one day is going to happen to my family, it's going to happen to everyone else. You, the 60 million South Africans, it's going to happen to you. And now, are you going to expect the Nkambules, Mnisi, and Nyirenda to come to your defense? Because it appears to me, as a nation, we've abandoned these 3 families. Because all the time I go out and talk to people about Lily Mine. No, we carry on. There's lots of beers and alcohol in our communities. We've opened our borders. Drug dealers give us all manner of drugs, because that's what our government wants us to be. We must be on the high. We must live a cosmetic life, life of lies, so that we don't really focus on big issues. And what is actually even more painful, our members of parliament, if you look at in the last 31 years of our democratic dispensation, the leaders we voted in power in 1994, their involvement in the mining industry. The reason why this mine management of this particular mine are getting such political protection, it's because all these millionaires, multi-billionaires...
For ActionSA, that's leader Herman Mashaba there at Lili Mine. This is after that tragic incident back in 2016 that saw a crown pillar collapse with 3 workers still trapped in it. Now, Mashaba is now on a quest to get at least some answers for the families. He says this incident for him might have not been an accident, as there were indications that an accident was waiting to happen, and no one really flagged this. He says they remain committed to getting justice, and in the meantime, Lili Mine there remains closed for operations.